Unity has been around for a very long time. This is actually considered the most popular, the biggest game engine ever. Now, it came out in 2005, and as you can see, it has been through many different versions over the last 2 decades. But last year, Unity 6 came out, which was huge. This was the first mainline version of a Unity engine since 2015 for Unity 5. Now, with this being the most popular game engine, obviously this is no small deal. This is a very big deal worldwide. But here's the thing, it was actually announced just earlier this month from a blog post actually from Unity that Unity 6 was no longer going to be actually available to China at all. Very big deal considering China makes up over an eighth of the world's population. It's actually number 2 in the world. I forgot that India actually surpassed it like 2 years ago. So yeah, very big deal. So let's look at this blog post here. So they say that some users have noticed that Unity 6 products have been removed from the shelves in mainland China, as well as the special administrative regions of Hong Kong and Macau. Those are just different parts of China as well. So yeah, China overall has Unity 6 just basically being removed from it. So they go on to say Unity 6 and subsequent versions will no longer be provided to users in the above regions, and related needs will be taken over by Unity Engine. That sounds kind of vague and very odd, and it kind of makes no sense to anybody reading it. And then the last sentence, they say this adjustment is intended to ensure that developers get game engine services that are more in line with the market needs of the above regions. Now, they do specify that Unity 2022 LTS and earlier versions will continue to be supported and maintained by Unity China, and all ongoing and released projects will not be affected. So that is very odd, especially to somebody who's maybe not really familiar with China and its relationship with Unity. Like, why are they being left out of the party that is Unity 6? Why do they have to stick with a version of Unity 5 from 2022, 3 years ago? Well, since this was announced earlier this month, some people suspected that this had to do with the United States tariffs recently on China. Now, the website Game Developer actually reached out directly to Unity, and they cleared all of this up. So they say, was the China version of Unity 6 taken offline because of the 245% tariffs imposed on China by the Trump administration? According to Unity, the answer is no. In a statement to Game Developer, a Unity spokesperson said that the decision to remove access to Unity 6 in the region is, quote, part of the long-term plan that led to the creation of a China joint venture in 2022. It is not tied to current global tariff issues. Now, when you click that link on the Game Developer article, you can go back and see 3 years ago that, yeah, Unity and China entered this sort of joint venture in 2022. They called it very creatively Unity China. Essentially, reading through all of this, it sounds like this Unity China venture was a way for Unity to work more closely with these China-based companies and specifically make products that are specifically designed for them. Basically, customizing versions of the engine that work better for Chinese developers. Now, I don't know what that looks like. There's a number of different questions I have that might not really have an answer that is public knowledge at this point. I really don't know. Like, maybe stuff like this just works better with government regulations. Maybe Unity making its own business, like its own separate entity in China, just made it easier to work with these companies. Not sure, but from what it sounds like, now things are really at a crossroads in a sort of way. Not like a disagreement, but basically now you're really going to have 2 Unity engines going forward based on where you are in the world. If you're anywhere other than China, you're going to be on just the mainline Unity engine, what right now is Unity 6, and it'll eventually be Unity 7 and so on and so forth. But if you're in China, you're going to be starting off with this Unity 2022 engine. I'm not sure if that will be like necessarily a downgrade, because obviously I'm sure they have built on this in the past 3 years, and as the mainline, non-China Unity version will expand over time, so will the actual China version. It will be kind of interesting to see how these 2 versions will be similar but also different going forward. But yes, going back to the tariffs, it's officially been confirmed by Unity that that has nothing to do with this new China-only version of Unity that is all a part of a joint venture that was made 3 years ago.